Jane Austen.
Kia ora and welcome to this episode of the Amateur Austenite. I'm Frances Duncan, author, Austenite life coach. With me is Rachel Pilwer, beatboxer, book buyer, Austenite, and all-around nerd.
Hi!
Today we're discussing chapter 38 of Emma. It's the ball.
What? Already?
Well, it does kind of seem to come out of nowhere. Frank's here, and then we're having the ball. Emma was dedicated to the Prince Regent, who Jane Austen did not like. She met his librarian, who suggested that she dedicate her next book to the prince and that it would be allowed, which is basically like being told to dedicate the book to him. He apparently had copies of each of her novels in each of his residences.
Wow.
Yeah.
A fan.
Pretty cool.
That's cool.
Even if she didn't like him.
You can dislike someone as much as you want, doesn't mean they dislike you. Emma seems to really dislike Mr. Martin. Just because he's poor, he doesn't dislike Emma, even though he really should, because she was so mean to him.
She is the reason that he's not married to Harry yet. So it's the day of the ball. That happens real quick, and it's the second time that Emma's going to see Frank since he went away.
It's the moment we've all been waiting for.
They'll have a lovely ball and they'll get to dance together. And the line is that the room at the Crown was to witness it.
Have Emma and Frank danced at all yet? No.
Yeah,
Yes?
They did at the Coles.
They did dance at the Coles. I don't know why my brain thought that had been interrupted.
Because he didn't get to dance with Jane.
He didn't get to dance with Jane, the more important pairing.
Emma arrives early because Mr. Weston's like, come early and make sure that everything's set up right.
That sounds like hostess duties.
There's another carriage and another carriage. So it seems like he's invited half of the company that's going to be there to come early and check that it's all set up right.
He actually just doesn't want anybody to be late, so he's asked all the people with ADHD or neurodivergency who might be late to arrive early, and then they're just going to be on time. And that's the way to get me to places on time.
This is where Emma starts to see issues, we'll say, with Mr. Weston. To be the favourite and intimate of a man who had so many intimates and confidants was not the first distinction. A little less open-heartedness would have been better. General benevolence, but not general friendship, made a man what he ought to be. Now, can you think of anybody else in this book of the male persuasion who that might describe? Yeah, it's totally Mr. Knightley.
Yeah, 100%.
She could fancy such a man. Really, Emma.
Wow, you could fancy a man who is your best friend? Crazy.
Because he is generally benevolent, and people think that they're his friend, like Mr. Elton and Robert Martin and William Larkins all consider themselves Mr. Knightley's friends, but he doesn't necessarily consider himself their friend.
Yeah. He's friendly. He's reserved, not as much as his brother, but he's more reserved. But I think maybe it just seems that he is because he's less fanciful than all of the other characters. He's a much more down-to-earth character than the dramatics of Mr. Elton.
So this is like a village in a cozy mystery.
With all these crazy characters, and he's the one normal person in that entire village.
Yes, that makes total sense.
He doesn't always seem like he would be like the friendly kind of guy who gets along with everybody. He's polite. He's like, this is how I should behave, and this is how a good person, like with morals, acts. He just follows his own kind of set of code of ethics. That just makes him really nice and approachable to everybody because he'll always be happy to help, and he'll also do his due diligence of doing what he can.
Because we get the impression that he doesn't like Mr. Elton and that he doesn't like Mrs. Elton, but they have no concept of that.
Yeah, because he's polite. He'd never say it to their face. He doesn't dislike Mr. Elton at the beginning. He comes to dislike Mr. Elton because he can see that Mr. Elton has eyes on Emma. And it's his possessiveness and love for Emma that makes him dislike Elton, which is the same reason he dislikes Frank. Whereas with Mrs. Elton, he doesn't like Mrs. Elton because she sucks and she's a bitch. And everybody should dislike Mrs. Elton. She's also incredibly rude, which he would not abide by.
Because Mr. Knightley is the one that tells Emma Mr. Elton knows an entire family of women who have £20,000 and he's happy to marry any of them. He already knows that Mr. Elton sucks and warns Emma of the fact. Because he is very not impressed that is the way that Mr. Elton is going.
Because we've said before that the Eltons really suit each other, and it's also partially because of their lack of moral code. Mr. Knightley can definitely see that. I think he sees everybody very much for who they are. He's got no expectations in anybody. His only expectation is that people were polite. If they're not, then he sees right through it. But, like, he's not expecting anybody to pick. A lot of people see Emma as lovely because of her position. Emma's so kind and generous and lovely and benevolent because that's what's expected of her. So they don't actually see that she's not always like that because that's not who they expect her to be. But Mr. Knightley doesn't expect that from her, so he doesn't see that.
She also is just herself in front of him.
But I think he does it with everybody. Like, I think the Miss Bates and I think even Harriet. He doesn't really expect anything of Harriet at all, which I think is why she ends up kind of liking him. She's not having to either be, like, too prim and proper like she would have to be for Mr. Elton. She probably could be herself around Mr. Knightley, although that wouldn't be attractive to him. But like the same way it would be to Mr. Martin. He just would have this kind of air of approachability. He sees through Mr. Elton because he doesn't expect him to be like, well, although in saying that, there should be expectations on how he should behave.
Because he's a clergyman. Yep, the morals of him and Mrs. Elton. You would expect these days for a clergyman to have good morals, but during the Georgian and Regency period, like, it was a job a lot more than a calling. And we had a talk last year from Brenda S. Cox, who was talking about the way that some clergymen were characterised during the time was that they would get a whole lot of different livings and then pay someone cheaply to work them for them so they could rake in all the cash.
Which is so scummy. If people did that now, when so many people can't find work, can you imagine?
Hello, capitalism?
Yeah. Okay. Socialism is the way to go.
The Westons stopped at the Bates house to offer them a ride. In my head, the Crown Inn is directly across the road from the Bates house. I don't know if that's accurate, but in my head that's where it is, and it's so funny that 2 carriages get sent to collect them to take them there. But when they were going to the Coles, only Mr. Knightley eventually was like, oh, do you guys want a carriage? At other times, they're expected to walk to the other end of town in the dark.
After a quick Google search of a map that someone has done, we find that, yes, the Crown Inn is literally right across the road and like 2 doors down from the Bates. It's really not very far. The Coles is also right across the road and just a little bit further down.
I thought that they were on like an estate type thing, so they'd be a little bit out of town.
This is a hypothetical and it's not to scale. We don't actually know how far apart because they've got Hartfield over here. Actually, there's probably a good bit of distance between each one of these. I don't think that the Bates would really need a carriage to get to this destination compared to some of the others in this book.
It's just a weird little thing to just be like, well, it's a ball, so we should have a carriage for you.
Yeah.
But it's lovely that the Westons go and stop at their door and say, do you want to come in our carriage? But then the Eltons who have offered, forget about them.
No.
Yeah, and they have to send their carriage back.
I think that's an even more sign of disrespect is just, rather than not offering, it's offering and then forgetting about them.
Then Mrs. Elton says to Mrs. Weston, don't worry, I'll always take care of them. You never need to offer your carriage. And I'm like, but you literally just forgot them.
Yeah, you lied.
Frank is real edgy. We know it's because he wants to see Jane. Emma's like, is he trying to avoid me? Is that what's going on? Is he worried he's going to fall in love with me again?
Oh, Emma, just stop. You don't want him to be in love with you, so just ignore him.
He covers it pretty well, though. He's like, I want to meet the Eltons. I've never met them. I've heard a lot about them. And then, obviously, I need to worry about Miss Bates.
He's very much a brilliant actor. Sometimes.
And Mrs. Elton immediately starts talking to Mr. Weston about how great Frank is, within earshot of Frank.
Are we surprised by that?
And she brings it back round to Maple Grove. As soon as she does so, Mr. Weston could recollect that there were ladies just arriving to be attended to and hurry away. I'll listen to you while you're saying nice things about my son. As soon as you come back to your brother-in-law, I do not care.
As soon as you mention the word Mr. Circling, I'm out. I'm tapping out. Goodbye. But also, he is a host. He's got to go and welcome other people. He's doing his proper duties. And if they happily coincide with not having to listen to you anymore, then all the better for him.
Mrs. Elton takes it upon herself to be an additional host.
Honestly, the gall of this woman. The audacity. Where did she get it from? Was she just born with this amount of, like... Okay, question. Because we're neurodivergent, I don't want to lump her in a category with us because I don't want anything related to her. Do you think that she does have a neurodivergence?
Oh, Mrs. Elton!
And that maybe she doesn't get cues from people properly.
I don't want Mrs. Elton to be like us.
I'm the same. I really want to have as little in relation to her as possible.
You could argue that she doesn't see social cues, and that is a symptom of autism, but you could also argue that she's someone who just doesn't give a shit about other people.
It's true. Narcissists also don't see social cues because they're so busy talking about themselves.
Is narcissism a neurodivergence?
No, and I really don't want it to be.
Everybody's words were soon lost under the incessant flow of Miss Bates, who came in talking and had not finished her speech under many minutes. A page of text. There's no description, but you can see what she's doing. She's going, oh, it's this family and that family, and thank you for offering me coffee. I don't want coffee. Do you have tea? Oh, tea, thank you. Look how lovely the room is, and oh, what a nice fire.
This would be a fantastic acting monologue. So very obliging of you. No rain at all. Nothing to signify. I do not care for myself. Quite thick shoes. And Jane declares, as soon as she was within the door, well, this is brilliant indeed. This is admirable. Excellently contrived, upon my word. Nothing wanting. Could not have imagined it. Honestly, I'm exhausted already and I'm not even halfway through.
Do you know who it reminds me of, actually? Sir William Lucas.
Oh, he does do that a bit.
Interesting. Never thought of it.
Compared to Miss Bates, though, it's not so obvious. Like, she's a much larger character in the book.
And it's funnier a woman who talks a lot than a man who talks a lot. Men are allowed to talk. They have the appendage that allows them.
Allows them to talk, yeah.
Yeah.
We poor women just,
lack the necessary appendage to talk.
We do it because our brain just doesn't know how to stop. It just keeps going and going. Like the filter just does. There's no filter. We're not saying anything of any importance.
No, that's why we have to keep talking.
Yeah.
Till we hit something of importance.
I feel like I had this image of Miss Bates in my head for years of this kind of, middle-aged woman, and she was like, pretty obviously talkative. But now, ever since the last version of Emma, brain forgetting
2020?
Yeah, the 2020 version of Emma. Since then, I can only picture her as Miranda Hart because she was so well cast that like every other version of her just is completely overtaken by the image of Miranda Hart. This tall woman who is so talkative and just does it. Like, I think it was so well done.
I was really surprised. I was like, why is Miranda in this role? But she was... Obviously, she's an actress, so she wasn't playing the Miranda from Miranda. She was playing Miss Bates. And,
but I still feel like there's so many similarities between the two characters in so many ways that she was just being an offset of her character she's already done for years.
She's a very tall woman as well. You'd expect someone like Miss Bates to be like sort of cowed a little and hunched, and she was not, and I love that.
The main thing that changed was my perception of her height. I just pictured her to be someone of average height, maybe more like Mrs. Bennet, looking similar to her, or how I would picture her. But now since Miranda, I'm like, no, I feel like she actually could be tall. She already has such a big presence. It's impossible not to notice her when she comes into the room. Not just because she's talking, but because she's just there.
She's got presence.
She's got a presence.
I want Miranda Hart to play every part.
If we could have a Miranda Hart, one woman, Jane Austen adaptation.
Yes.
Which one would it be, though? Okay, she would do a really good Mr. Woodhouse.
I feel like she'd love playing Mr. Collins.
She'd love playing Mr. Collins. Oh, she would do a really good Lady Catherine.
I was thinking Lady Catherine too. But I wonder if Northanger Abbey would be the best one for her because it's so much funnier than the others.
That's true.
And the characters are just flat out ridiculous that she could go to town on it.
If Miranda Hart ever listens to this, please do.
Contact us.
What would her email be? Miranda at miranda@mirandahart.co.uk? Something like that. We'll just give it a go. We'll try and send this file to her. We're like, hey, we've got a pitch.
one-woman show. You doing your thing, Abby. She could do a one-woman show of every single Austen.
That would be the dream. I'm trying to think of if there's any other actors or actresses who I'd want to actually watch a full one-woman show of.
Drew Barrymore popped into my head for some reason.
Oh.
She doesn't have the accent, but...
No. Do you know the TV show Poker Face?
I know of it, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I love that actress. I don't know her name.
Natasha Lyonne. She's fantastic. And she would be really good. Cynthia Erivo, who was Elphaba in Wicked, the live-action musical that just came out early this year. She plays 5 characters in the first episode of season 2, all with different accents, and she steals the show. She is fucking phenomenal.
I've heard she also steals Wicked.
Yeah, she really does.
Maybe we should petition her to do a one-woman show.
Of
Austen.
Yeah, of Austen as well.
Apologies if we got your pronouns wrong. Unintentional.
If anyone listening to this has any ideas of who else would do a really good one-woman, one-man show, hit us up. Let us know.
I've seen things on the internet of people being like, there should be a Muppets Pride and Prejudice.
Yes! Honestly, the fact that Disney keeps doing live-action remakes when they own the rights to the Muppets and they're not just doing Muppet remakes.
Of everything.
Miss Piggy as Miss Bates.
Miss Piggy as Mrs. Bennet. Miss Piggy as Lady Catherine.
Yeah, I was going to say Miss Piggy as like... Miss
Piggy as Lady Catherine.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
She would be amazing. Lady Catherine would suddenly become the funniest character in that whole thing.
And Darcy will be the only human.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, but who would then be Elizabeth?
Well, I think Miss Piggy's going to have to do a lot of roles.
She would do... Well, that's true. Who would you have as Mr. Collins of the Muppets?
Animal.
Oh my god.
No. Mr.
Swedish
Collins
Chef?
is probably the eagle.
Oh, yes, Sam the Eagle. Gonzo has to be in there somewhere.
Oh, definitely.
Fozzie Bear would be Bingley.
Maybe Gonzo is Mr. Bennet.
Statler and Waldorf as the Miss Bingleys. Oh, Mrs.
Miss Bingley and Mrs. Hurst.
And Mrs. Hurst. Because they're just the 2 bitchiest characters. I'd love it.
Talking about bitchy characters, Mrs. Elton is fishing
Statler and Waldorf
compliments. Oh god. And they just swap between them. And you're like, what? I'm wearing the bonnet. I'm her right now.
Yeah.
No, it's my turn. And then you just have them have a fight.
Yeah. Sorry.
Mrs. Elton is fishing compliments. Nobody can think less of dress in general than I do. Of course, they've thrown this ball for me. I have to. And Frank Churchill is such a fun young man. And then Frank just starts talking really vigorously to Emma because he can hear all of this. She refers to Jane Fairfax as Jane, and Frank's like, what did she say? She just called Miss Fairfax Jane? He's
like, so surprised.
He tells Emma he does not like Mrs. Elton. She says he's being ungrateful, and he's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Oh God, she knows. She knows about Jane. She knows that I should be grateful for Mrs. Elton looking after Jane. Oh no, and then runs away.
I've been caught. Shit. Flee.
You can see why he thinks she knows when she says stuff like that. Then he brings back his parents. They're like, so Mrs. Elton's going to want to open the ball. She thinks this ball is for her and she's going to want to dance with Frank. And Frank's like, nah, no, it's not happening. I am dancing with Emma. We already agreed. I'm not dancing with that bitch. And then eventually they're like, okay, Mr. Weston will dance with her. And she's okay about this.
Well, technically Mr. Weston is the host, so it should be him dancing with her then.
They wanted Emma to open the ball, which is lovely. This ball was planned before anyone knew anything about Mrs. Elton, and she seems unaware of that.
I think they should have purposely snubbed Mrs. Elton here and not let her open the ball.
They're too nice. Mr. and Mrs. Weston are both too nice.
Yeah. It's true. I know I would have been like, let's just ignore her and start dancing without her, and then she'll have to dance with her husband or something, you know.
Speaking of people not dancing, there's a relatively equal number of dancers of the genders. And then Harriet is sitting out for some reason, and Emma's like, why is that? That's really weird. And Mr. Elton is sauntering about, like intentionally walking in front of her to be like, look. It makes me think of Mr. Bean when he's like in a hospital with a woman in a wheelchair and he's like flipping his legs around. Like, look at
me. I can walk. I have legs. Loser. He's honestly such a dick.
It's rude.
It's rude.
Mrs. Weston sees this and goes to him thinking, he's just wandering around. He doesn't realise, will you dance with Harriet? He's like, no, I'm an old married man. The difference is, in the adaptations, he always says, I'm an old married man after she's dancing with Harriet. But in the novel, he actually says it beforehand.
Beforehand, yeah.
Because I reckon he sees it coming and he's like, well, as I said, I'm an old married man.
He's only saying, like, oh, the married woman is Mrs. Weston, if you'll dance with me. Oh, no, I'll give you a better partner. It's like, oh, Mrs. Gilbert, then. Just trying to avoid, well, not specifically the single woman, but seeing as Harriet is the only single woman not dancing, anything to avoid her. He just makes me want to hit him over the head with a hammer.
He goes to talk to Mr. Knightley, which I really love in the adaptations. They often have him walk up to Mr. Knightley and Mr. Knightley just go, no, and walk away and pick up Harriet. Because that is what he does, basically. Emma's like, look, he's dancing, he can dance. I knew he could dance. He shouldn't have stood with all the old men. Harriet's just having a lovely time. Mr. Elton runs off to the card room, looking foolish. Mrs. Elton's like, oh, look, Knightley has taken pity on poor little Miss Smith.
Very good-natured, I declare. Yeah, if only you were, lady.
Because she was egging him on. And then we have another huge speech of Miss Bates telling us everything that's happening during the supper.
It is 41 lines long.
And it's more than a page.
An insane amount of dialogue.
I reckon her character's probably got to be one of the most challenging because she could appear ridiculous. And part of it is that she's almost supposed to appear ridiculous. But also, she's lovely and kind. And you need to learn a whole bunch of lines.
Yeah. Trying to do a stage adaptation of Emma and trying to, like, get her monologues down would be so difficult. It's very much like flow of consciousness. Like, there's no, like, stopping and thinking of a response. It's literally just streaming.
I wonder if you had a stage performance where you're wearing mics, turn off Miss Bates' mic so you can see that she's talking in the background and just continuing to talk. And then
that would be really funny.
Because, of course, it would have to be Emma. Either just going, clicking her fingers or something, or going and standing at the edge of the stage and going, could you please just turn off her mic? Hilarious. If you do it exactly right. It could fall apart, but if you do it exactly right, it'd be so funny. After supper, Mr. Knightley is like, why do they hate you, Emma? They're trying to hurt you through Harriet. You wanted him to marry Harriet. She's like, yeah, okay, fine, I did.
They can't be seen as being mean to Emma. It's just not okay for them to do that. But no one will blink twice if they're rude and mean to Harriet.
It's not nice to punch down. This is the whole thing with comedians, right? They're like, we make fun of people above us. It's okay to punch up. It's not okay to punch down. You don't make fun of minorities. She's like, you're right. Mr. Elton sucks. I didn't know. And there's the use of the word blunders. Mr. Knightley's, you were also right that you chose him a better wife than he chose for himself.
So true.
I love that. She's extremely gratified. Then Mr. Weston comes round and is like, come on guys, we're going to get back to dancing. Supper's over. Emma, in as roundabout a way as possible, asks Mr. Knightley to dance because women cannot ask men to dance.
Mm-hmm.
Classic line, we are not really so much brother and sister as to make it at all improper. Ooh.
Brother and sister? No, indeed.
Dun dun dun.
They're not siblings. It's okay for them to fuck.
Sure, and on that note, that was our discussion of Chapter 38 of Emma by Jane Austen. I've been Frances Duncan. This has been Rachel Pilwer.
Bye.
Thank you for listening, and we wish you happy reading.
You've got big book energy.
Big book.
He likes big books and we cannot lie. No other brother can deny. When a book walks in with a big thick span and I don't know, I don't got lost in those song. You get sprung. You gonna put this at the end? Yeah, that's her.
You really go big when you say when we're recording. I'm just be like, that's gold.
Hi, Mum.
Hi, Rachel's mum. I hope you enjoyed the Dutch Pride and Prejudice and that you're healing well.